Good evening, YouTube. Home Theater Joe here, back with you again, going with a 2 for tonight on a roll. We really need to get into this next one. This is going to be kind of a longer form, little discussion video, so maybe you should probably go ahead and get into settings and put the playback speed to 1.25. Maybe help you get through it a little faster. I'm going to try to make this as quick as I can. We're going to dive right into AVRs in 2021 and why it just still doesn't make sense to buy an AVR in 2021 or a processor. And where I'm at, because as you know, come October, Yamaha should start their board swap program, which they are not charging their customers for. So while that AVR my TSR 700 is gone, I would like to review a receiver, right? And preferably a step up from mine. But this has caused all kinds of problems, and I wonder to myself, is there other people having the same problems as me? So I'm going to try to help out a little bit with the decision-making process and just kind of tell you guys where I'm at with it. So first of all, I think we should talk about some factors we have to work with, and that being room size. The room is at length 15 feet 10 inches long and 11 feet 5 inches wide. All right, the ceilings are at 8 feet. So you got 8-foot ceilings. Now, if we wanted to put all that together and get our cubic feet, we're at 1,468 cubic feet of airspace in this room. That's important to note. So, having said that, let's jump down in here into 2021 AVRs. So, the room size is important because, as you may or may not know now, I run a 7.1, 2 subwoofers, but it's only .1 system, right? I would like to add 2 more speakers up top. I have 5 bed layer and 2 up top. I would like to add 2 more to give me 4 up top. And eventually, in my home theater, I would like to add 2 down to make it 7. But in the space I am now, 7 is not a possibility for the bed layer. So it's going to have to stay at 5. And then we can anticipate having 2 more. That's a total of 4. Already have 2 subs. So at bare minimum, we need a receiver or a processor that handles 9.2 channels. All right? Should be pretty simple. Why do I say that? Because, man, the rabbit hole gets deep. When we look into AVRs, we want all the best features we can get, or even pre-pros. We realize we have to keep stepping up in model number, right? Or at the bare minimum, buy an entry-level processor, pre-pro. All of this gets very expensive. So what ends up happening is we might think we need this product that has 11 or 13 channels of processing power, or 11 channels of amplification, or maybe even 13 channels of amplification. Okay, we need this to get the Oro 3D or the DTSX Pro. But I'm going to get into that in just a second and tell you why that's really needed. So as I said, we're dealing with 5 and 4. We have a 9-channel system. So anything that's 11 or 13 channel, or say 15 or 16 channel processor, we just throw that out the window. We don't need that. Okay? So that helps in a decision very much. Also, we need to think about our video processing. Do we need HDMI 2.1? More specifically, do we need 4K 120, 8K 60 pass-through? We need to not get confused with HDMI 2.1 full bandwidth and eARC. Those are 2 separate things. eARC has to do with audio, and full bandwidth for audio as to a compressed or limited signal sent back to the receiver. It does not have to do with video. So, if we don't have a new console or a PC that kicks out that full bandwidth of 4K 120 or 8K 60, we really don't need an AVR processor that deals with HDMI 2.1. Do I currently have a console or a PC that will handle 4K 120. I do not. I do plan on having one in the future, so I would like to have that capability. Something to keep in mind. So number of channels processed and video processing is very important. Let me take a step backwards and go back into number of channels processed. So when we see these features like DTSX Pro, we think, ah, man, we should really have that because, you know, that's 13 to, 24 channels or something? Okay, great. But I'm not even putting 13 channels in my home theater. That'll never happen in this home. So for me, DTSX Pro is not needed. So that's another thing I can understand when I'm looking to purchase a new AVR. I myself don't need DTSX Pro. So I don't need to get roped into Denon's 6500 and above because it just doesn't matter to me. Now let's talk about Oro 3D. Oro 3D is all over the place. You're hearing so much about it on lots of communities and YouTube. The minimum they want you to have for Oro 3D is 5 bed layer, 5 height channels, and 1 center channel. So that's a total of 11.1. Again, I'm not going to put 11 channels in here. So Oro 3D for me is really not needed. I'm not even going to do 10. So Oro 3D is not a necessity. It's not needed. As well, I have looked into it. There is some Oro 3D content out there, but it's not a whole lot. I actually happen to own a couple of the movies that are already in Oro 3D. They are 4K UHD copies. I checked them. They are not Oro 3D licensed. So I would have to repurchase those movies or find a streaming service that streams in Oro 3D. So, look, the content's not there. It's hard to find. Maybe you can use the upmixer. I don't have any experience, so I'm not going to talk to that. But I can just say Oro 3D content. There's not a whole lot of it out there. So those are two things that are not really needed. What is most stuff mastered in North America? Dolby Atmos 7.1, not even 9.1. You know, it's a 7.1 configuration. Most of the stuff out here, so, sorry, repeating myself, but that's important to know all of these things, to factor these things in. So, like me, I've been trapped the last couple months. I had my heart set on the Emotiva XMC2. But at the end of the day, I just keep looking at prices and thinking about it, and we're trying to save for a home, as you may or may not know. And there's no way I'm not putting 16 channels in my home theater. I don't need to run three subs. I'm not going to do that. So although I'm not scared of the XMC2, I would love to own one. I don't want to spend $3,000, more than $3,000 before taxes USD to own it. I'm just never going to utilize its capabilities. So it took me a couple of months to come to that realization. I don't need Oro 3D. I don't need DTSX Pro. And obviously there's Dolby Atmos, but there's another big sound format that nobody really talks about, nobody says anything about, but any good AVR or preprocessor worth its salt, in my opinion, must have. And that's Imax Enhanced. And most of all of these receivers do. The 3700 and up, you know, I'm not sure about the 2700, but hey, all the Marantz, you know, Yamahas, they're all Imax Enhanced, Onkyo, you know, so if they can meet that specification or that standard and display that licensing, you can be sure that they're pretty good. So I have learned in the last couple of months not to get caught in the DTSX Pro and Oro 3D trap. And I have narrowed it down to, I think, 2 receivers that I want to review. And I'm going to do a separate standalone video on that because this is just going to drag way too long if I don't. So I think that's where I'm at. Hopefully that helps anybody out there with the decision-making process. I mean, do I go pre-pro? Do I go AVR? Do I need 13 channels? Do I need 7? It is quite overwhelming and it's been a little ridiculous. So I don't think I'm probably not the only one out here having that thought. So hopefully the observations I've been able to make over the last couple months, the information I've been able to source will help you guys out. Before I go, I'll leave you with my two choices for what I would like to review come October. The Marantz SR 6015, which retails right now at $19.99 USD, and the Yamaha R6A 6A, which retails right now for $21.99, 95 USD. I would really like the help of the community. Maybe you guys can help me decide which one between the two of those that you would like to see reviewed and get the real world usage information on from somebody who's going to use it as their daily driver and give it a while, not just review it for a week or two. You know, I'm going to spend some time with this thing. So, or, you know, if you have another suggestion, please feel free to throw that in there. Yeah, I really want to encourage people to comment below. Good, bad, or indifferent. Boom, right down there. All right, I think we can wrap this one up. It's gone long enough. You're probably sick of listening to me ramble. Yeah, so there you go. As always, thank you for listening. Be good, be safe. Boom.